Today, I'm going to take you on a ride with me in the RAV4 Prime. All right, so let's talk about the RAV4 Prime. I've had this car for about 4 months now, and we've driven it a total of 6,500 miles already. A couple of road trips to Lake Tahoe, up and down California a little bit. And there's a couple things that I love about this car, and basically just one thing that I don't really like. So first, I want to talk about the fact that it is a plug-in hybrid. And you might be wondering, why plug-in hybrid? Because a lot of people say stuff like, oh, plug-in hybrid, then you've got all the worst things to deal with and extra maintenance and all that stuff. And the reason I think this makes sense as a really great option for a lot of people is because you don't have to deal with all the charging infrastructure problems that come with owning a regular non-Tesla EV. Because if you own a non-Tesla EV, you are at the mercy of Electrify America, which is frankly terrible. ChargePoint, which never is fast charging, it's all slow charging. It's really hard to take road trips with an EV. If you're only using it for local stuff, that's great, but road trips are basically a nightmare for anything that's not a Tesla right now. So I don't particularly like the way Teslas feel. I don't like the one pedal driving one bit. I absolutely detest it. And the RAV4 actually means that I don't got to deal with that. All right, I have the microphone working better now. So when we take the RAV4 Prime on road trips, it's easy. We're getting 40 miles to the gallon, which is awesome, and it actually turns out cheaper than having an EV. Even if you have a Tesla and you're paying 50 cents or more per kilowatt hour, you're paying more than it costs to just put gas into the RAV4 Prime. So that's a huge advantage. And when we are just driving around home, we're basically just operating the RAV4 as a EV. Like most of the time, we don't have to touch gas when we're driving around town, doing anything. On our normal daily schedules, when we take our kid to school, pick them up, all that stuff, that's 100% done on electric energy. So we don't buy gas. The last time I bought gas for this car was 1,500 miles ago, and that was just to put in a half tank, and we still haven't touched that half tank because we haven't done any long distance drives since I last put gas in this thing. So when you're talking about being fuel efficient, this car wins on so many levels because it's great with gas, and you can get, even if you were just doing highway driving, you can get about 33 miles of pure EV driving. And if you're talking about mixed driving, then it's supposedly around 40 miles, right? So for us, you know, when we do like a 12-mile drive to go into town and come back, whatever, it's fine. There's no need to touch gas because its range is so good, its battery is big enough. So most people, I think 40 miles round trip is totally doable. I think its max stated range is like 44 miles on EV. And of course, that's going to depend on how hard you hit the acceleration and all that stuff. Now, the other thing that I really love about this car is acceleration. So it is so smooth. Even in gas mode, it's no big deal. It's not loud like another plug-in hybrid that we have is the Kia Niro from 2022. And that thing, when you switch into gas mode, it just sounds like it doesn't want to do it. The car is just upset about the whole experience. When you are driving the RAV4, everything is smooth. Even the gas engine is quiet, and acceleration is good whether you're on gas or electric. When you're on electric and you put the pedal to the metal, it accelerates so quickly, so smoothly. You go 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, and that is fun. It's amazing. Do you need to be faster? Do you need to be able to do it in 1.9 seconds like a Tesla Plaid or whatever else is out there? I don't think so. I don't regularly need to accelerate that quickly. I'm not willing to pay an extra 40, 50 grand for that. The RAV4 completely checks all the boxes. We can take it anywhere like snow. It's got all-wheel drive. It accelerates quickly under normal conditions. and it has reasonably good highway driving, assisted driving features, and that brings me to the things that I kind of like but not quite. So when I am driving with the assist features on, I've got steering assist, I've got the radar cruise control, and all of that stuff is reasonably good. I love the radar cruise control. It follows at a smart distance. It does everything it's supposed to do pretty well with that, except it's not great with its steering assist. So most of the time the steering is pretty good when I have steering assist on, but there are definitely times where it loses the plot. It seems like it just wants to veer to the left and stay too close to the line on the left. Occasionally it'll do it on the right side, but most of the time I find it's doing it to the left side, and it just really gets way too close to the left side. Then I have to deactivate it for like 20-30 seconds, turn it back on, and it usually goes back to a more normal, correct steering assist. I'm not sure if there's some way I can fix that. I haven't seen anything in there to adjust that, but if you know of something like that, make sure to drop me a comment down below. In terms of road noise, this car is really great. It's probably the quietest car that I've had. I've never had expensive cars. I just can't justify spending that much money on a car. But this is actually probably the most expensive, or close to the most expensive car I've ever paid for. And it is quiet. I really like it. Its sound system is decent. It actually can't get that loud, which is interesting. I don't know if there's some sort of safety feature that I haven't figured out how to deactivate, but I can't really make it so loud that I am completely zenned out and just blasted by the music. But it's good enough, it's good quality, it's better than the other cars that I've driven. And the quietness, just sitting in the cabin when we're driving right now at 72 miles per hour, is great. Like when I'm talking to my wife or kid driving at highway speeds, there's no problem hearing each other. We can just talk at a normal volume, and that's awesome. I've heard that the freeway noise on the other models, the gas models, like the just regular gas models, and even the hybrid might be kind of noisy, but for me with the Prime, it's no big deal. And here's a good view. Take a nice look at the ocean. Hopefully you can see it. And the great thing about having a car that has the steering assist and the radar cruise control is that you can actually do that. If you're doing a surf check and you want to see how the waves are, then you've got some safety. Like there's plenty of room in front of me, the car is handling the steering, I can look at the waves. I don't stare at them, but I'm gonna check and then I can look again, and everything's cool. It's good, it's safe, and pretty darn reliable. For anyone who lives in a cold, snowy place, the heated steering wheel and the heated seats are really nice. I really enjoy those. I thought that was kind of gimmicky because I don't really live in a place that is that cold. But when I went to Tahoe for snowboarding and it was cold in the morning, it was really nice to have a heated steering wheel. I never thought it was something that I actually needed. I don't technically need it, but I really like it. So super nice feature. And then I do want to mention some of the things I don't particularly like. One of them is the instrument cluster. So all this stuff in front of me is just, it's so cluttered. There's so many things going on. The little screens that are available here, there are so many, and many of them just, like, it's hard to remember what's what. The settings menus are really, really weird. Some of the settings menus you can get into by just clicking. Some of them you have to hold the OK button to select them. It's just weird. It's not intuitive. Some of these things don't make any sense, like LTA, lane tracking assist, I believe, PCS, I don't know, collision system, maybe pedestrian, but then that's not a pedestrian in the image. It looks like two cars there. I don't know, BSM, blind spot monitoring, RCTA, I have no idea. RCTA is rear cross traffic alert. Like all these things, you can kind of figure it out, but they're pretty confusing, really weird names, and then not all of them are easily accessible to change. You gotta do some weird stuff to make all that happen. The other thing I don't like that's pretty unorthodox is the way you schedule charging, and we're gonna talk about that once I get home so we can park and see how that works. Okay, so I'm getting home and I'm gonna reverse, and this is maybe one of the things I don't really like, is how loud the reverse sound is, but it's a safety thing. I'm gonna put the microphone outside so you can kind of hear it. Basically, it sounds like an army of heavenly angels is coming to back up your car. Okay, now we are back. So let's take a look at how the scheduling for your charging works. So on most cars, you just go ahead and go into your charging schedule and set times where you want your car to automatically schedule, because if you have time of use, like in California, there are certain chunks of time where it's cheaper to charge. So for example, from midnight until 3 p.m. in PG&E territory, it's going to be your lowest possible electric rates. And then outside of those times, you don't want to be paying 50 or 60 cents per kilowatt hour to charge your car, because that's insanely expensive. Yes, if you're from another state, you're probably choking right now. I'll wait. So on most cars, you'll have the ability to just set the times that you want your car to automatically charge, but that's not possible here. On the RAV4, they decided to be really unique and interesting. You can set a time to start charging. Now the tricky thing here is once you have a start time set, it won't actually automatically start if it's not that start time. For example, if I said, hey, I always want you to start your charging at 3 a.m., okay? Well, that means at 3 a.m., it's gonna try to start charging, but if I plug in at 10 a.m., it's not gonna automatically start charging. It's gonna say, hey, do you want me to start charging now, or do you want me to just wait until my scheduled charging time? So the only workaround for this is to either set a whole bunch of start times. So you could go in here and just add a 3 a.m., add a 4 a.m., et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so that every hour on the hour it's trying to start charging, which when you say it out loud is a stupid idea. Or you could set your charge time, and then if there's a time that you want it to charge outside of that regular start time, then you could plug in, unplug, plug in again immediately, and that will automatically start the charge. Or when you plug in that first time, you could go to your steering wheel, and when you plug in the first time, you just hit this OK button, because it'll be asking you, do you want to charge now? And then when you hit that OK button, it'll start charging right now. But your charging cable is way in the back on the passenger side, so you'll be walking back and forth in order to do that, which is a little bit of extra exercise, but also seems kind of inconvenient. So you get an idea of this. You have plugged in once, and then I unplug and plug it right back in. And then when I go over here, you can see that it's already got a departure now scheduled for 2 p.m. And if I want to charge now, I just got to hit this OK button. And there it goes. Charging starts. And we are moving. So let's actually return to the departure time settings. So it's not all bad. There is climate preparation, which is kind of cool. So if you say, let's set this up for 2 p.m., then when you get to your car, climate preparation should have the AC running so that it's at the temperature that you want it to be. That is pretty cool. But the question is, will that actually stop the charging at 2 p.m.? Well, that's not really that clear. So to test that, we need to run a little experiment. I'm going to set a 12:30 p.m. departure time on the RAV4, and then I'm going to come back to it after 12:30 p.m. and see if it has stopped charging. Pretty sure it will not. All right, so it's now 12:36. And let's see what it's doing. It is still charging. Time to full charge, 1 hour and 20 minutes, which just confirms you cannot use the departure time as a way to stop charging at a certain time. It's just going to be charging, trying to hit that departure time, but it doesn't actually work to help you regulate time of use rates. So really, if you want to stop it at the right time, you're going to have to do something else, like probably manually pulling the plug or just timing your start times to make sure it will finish before you hit the expensive times. My 2022 Kia Niro plug-in hybrid also has a departure time setting, but it doesn't really do that much. It just tells the car to prioritize charging in a way that allows me to have a full charge at the time I'm going to leave. There is a whole other setting that allows you to tell the car, these are the times of day that you can charge freely, please charge then. The RAV4 doesn't have that. If it had that and the departure time setting with this climate preparation, it'd be awesome. But for whatever reason, Toyota decided not to put that in. So if you know why Toyota decided to use this very unorthodox system, please drop me a comment down below and let me know. Or maybe if you like this system, can you drop me a comment and let me know why you like this system? Because it doesn't seem to make that much sense to me. The best use case I'm finding for it is because we have solar now, I could set this to charge at very specific times based on our daily schedule, so I can make sure that it is charging at only those times, and then I could work around it all the other times. But I think for most people, this is unnecessarily complicated, because if you could just set your time of use rates, you'd be fine. But I guess if you live in one of those states where you have like free charging on the weekend or something, then maybe it would make sense to have this kind of customizability, but it just seems kind of weird. Despite the quirky charging stuff and the lane tracking assist not quite working well all the time, I do love the car. It feels great to drive. It's really handy, it's versatile, it's fast enough. It doesn't handle like a sports car, and frankly, I wish it were lower and felt more like a sporty car, but then it wouldn't really be the RAV4 Prime. Maybe it would then be a
GR86 Prime.
I guess there's also the Prius Prime, which I could look into at some point in the future, but for now, the RAV4 Prime is an excellent family car, and it does its job really well. If you've got the RAV4 Prime or you have experience with it, drop me a comment down below and let me know what you thought about it. And are there other plug-in hybrids that are anywhere near as good as the RAV4 Prime? If you know of one, please drop me a comment down below. I'd like to check it out. That's it on the RAV4 Prime today. As always, remember to keep it simple.